Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my co host on the other side. Sorry about that with the technical difficulties on this lovely Wednesday night. Angel, what do you think about these two games so far from the Astros?
I don't know. I know the wind's a factor. I know they're not used to playing in those conditions, but I think, for example, today's game was very winnable in that aspect. I think Spencer Arrighetti, yes, he faltered a little bit in that first inning, but Astros had plenty of opportunities to score some runs, and they just couldn't do it. But at the end of the day, you look at the record; they're 7 and 18 now with this loss, and it's I, I know they're frustrated. Astros fans are frustrated. I know it's just a lot of frustration brewing, but the thing you can do is hope they turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, we did title it at a time. Is it time to panic with a 7-18 record? But we changed it to episode 174. Lost in the Windy City because the ball had been flying out of the ballpark due to the wind in Chicago. Mike Talkman's home run was a beautiful definition of that. Um, but like you said, this game was very winnable for the Astros. Just did not execute with runners in scoring position. I think that's been a tale of two of everything about this season too for them, like offensively. Like you said, what can you do if you're an Astros player, if you're an Astros fan? You're visibly frustrated at this point. Um, a lot of these guys too on the comments. Joshua, what's going on? Astro Wharf Cray, to quote Barbara Streisand and Donna Summer, enough is enough, which is true. It's kind of like, okay, well, you could go so many times saying we got to play better, we got to get better, we got to turn back the clock, like all them type of puns and all them type of things like that, and you have to show it on the field because right now the Astros are not showing it through no type of energy, no type of hustle, all those type of things. You could just see it visibly on the field.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's just a matter, like I've been saying, it's just a matter of when they can turn around. But as the season gets longer, the losing starts to sting a little bit. It's just a matter of being patient. Or, when I can turn it around.
Yep, and that's baseball for you too. But we're gonna keep this episode fun because obviously they did lose another series. They lost 7 of their last 8 games. They're on a 4-game losing streak right now. But hey, we're gonna make it try a little bit of fun. Try to give you some good facts about this. And when the Astros head to Mexico City and get ready to play the Colorado Rockies, which that team too has been playing bad baseball at the moment in the beginning of the season. But Angel, before we get started with our episode, what else you got to say?
Oh yeah, follow us on Instagram, FSA Full Steam Ahead, on Twitter. You know, tell your friends about us. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. Anywhere you are, we are there. Shoot us a follow.
We are 4 subscribers away from hitting the triple digits, Angel. We are at
Okay.
96. We're getting close to 100. So if you want to hit that subscribe button too on YouTube, make
Yeah.
sure you don't miss an episode. If you're on the road, get that notification on your phone on YouTube as soon as we're to be talking about the Astros. Um, but yeah, let's recap these 2 games real quick because obviously it wasn't the best of both worlds for the Astros. Even the Cubs. The Cubs didn't play great baseball in this game, but they got 2 wins out of it. Let's go with game 1 first. There was no offensive spark, period. The offense was just not there in game 1. Credit and tip your cap to Jordan Wicks. We did say in the last episode, somebody's going to come out with the loss. It's either going to be France, Wicks. They're both had an 0-2 record. France had a 7 ERA. Wicks had a 5 ERA. Somebody was destined to lose that game. But it was JP France at the end of the day. Jordan Wicks looked phenomenal on the mound for the Cubs. Generated a lot of swing and misses, 11 swing and misses. We talked about that changeup. We told everybody. We told you about the preview. Well, he's going to throw more majority of the time. It's going to be the fastball on the changeup. What is he going to try to strike you out with? It is El Cambio. 8 whiffs on the changeup. And this was kind of brutal to swallow if you're an Astros fan or just even an Astros player, I would think too. He finished the game through 6 innings, and his last 3 starts, everything was 4 1/3, 4 2/3, 4 innings. He couldn't get over the 5-inning plateau, but in this start against the Astros, he was just able to do it. He looked lights out. He looked like he had the Astros number, except Jake Myers hitting that solo home run to left.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a big case for the Astros again. Like a lot of pitchers are having success around them. Pitchers you wouldn't accept. Like prime example was the Mitchell guy against the National Series. I think the Astros are very struggling offensively, which is leading to guys who are on the come up or guys who have a few starts on their belt having like have a high success rate against the Astros.
Yeah, most definitely. But I forgot to even mention, if you want to vent, if you want to talk about this game, this series so far, let it out. Let it out. Put it in the comments. We'll try to put it out there. We'll talk about it as well because I mean, like we said, four game losing streak, 7 out of the 8 games they've lost. They haven't won a game since the opening series against the Nationals. We understand this is a safe zone. If you need to vent, put it in the comments. We'll read it out to everybody because I think all the Astros fans out there are very frustrated in this beginning of the season. But let's move on to JP France real quick because I mean it's kind of tell both games the starting pitching just was not there for the Astros. Both of them dug themselves in deep holes. First inning, just the first in both, and really both
In both
games. The
games, yeah.
first inning for JP France, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Um, and the next, couple of innings after that, he settled in. He only gave up 1 hit, no earned runs. The walks did kind of kill him. He gave up 3 walks, and then he did strike out 5 guys. But the thing I would say for this series, for both these guys, was trying to put away the batter with 2 outs, meaning the batter that comes up with 2 outs, the starting pitchers struggled trying to get out of that inning. Let's go with JP France real quick. Christopher Morel walks. Dansby Swanson had a single. Mike Togman comes up, and like we were talking about in the beginning, I mean, I think the wind just kind of carried it out to left. I mean, he did put the ball in play. He did put it in the air, and Togman hit a 3-run homer, and that extended the lead to 5 runs. And that's not going to help the Astros offense at that point because you're just digging yourself, you're digging your team in a bigger hole. 5 runs already in the first inning, even though there's a lot of baseball left, it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on the offense, a kind of a sense of urgency, like we need to get some runs going to pick up our pitcher and still be able to be in this ball game. So wasn't the best start for JP Francis. I think this is probably his third or fourth start that's not been good for him.
Yeah,
Um,
that's about right.
you wanna add on with JP France before I move on to the next guy?
No, I was just agreeing with you. I think sounds about right. I think that was one of the guys. I think earlier in the season we had a debate about when everybody is good and healthy, who will be in the bullpen from the starters. I said Hunter Brown. You said JP France, and I don't know. It's not looking so good for them.
Both of them, really.
But there's really no reinforcements until everybody gets healthy because you saw Spencer Arrighetti. I know you like talked. I know you talk about him in a little bit, but there's really no one else after these guys. So it's just they need to basically get it together, right? Figure out a way to get outs, figure out a way to not throw 30 plus pitches in an inning, and it's just a matter of finding it, like finding their release point, finding their control, command. It's just like it's still like a lot of learning that they have to do.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting when when the Astros get the whole starting rotation healthy. Who's going to move back to that bullpen? And it looks like if we're talking about Lance McCullers and Luis Garcia, Jose Urquidy, and them coming back already, majority of this is going to be Hunter Brown and JP France going back to the bullpen, while Ronel Blanco, I think at this point, earns a starting spot no matter what until he shows that he's going downhill. But before we go on to Spencer Arrighetti, Yainer Diaz too. I mean, I understand there's a sense of you wanting to get that guy out when he's trying to steal second, but you got to catch the ball first and not stick your glove all the way out because this is the second time he's had a catcher's interference, back-to-back series with 8 error, and both games it led to an unearned run. So,
yeah. And if we're talking about defense, first base play needs to get better too. Not just like at first it was like Abreu. I think he's a little bit more notable because he plays first base almost every day or the majority of the time. So him not being able to scoop those balls is very
hurts the defense.
Yeah,
And the pitching.
But Singleton didn't give himself any favors there. I know it was a line shot, but he tried to play it on the side, like you said, or off air, and then that slow ground ball that hit the base. Like you have to
Yeah.
do that there. Like
I think
there's
at that moment you got to be on the bag just to like
yeah,
even try to catch the ball, and you're already on the bag.
yeah, and then it's just like miscommunication too. John Singleton tried to go for a ball
Oh
that
yeah,
was kind of in the gap. Jose Altuve made a play, but nobody was on first, and the ball goes over. So I think first play, like you said, catching wise, those catches interference need to stop, but first defense and first base needs to get a lot better too.
errors in general. This team was once a platinum glove team. They won the platinum glove team award for the Rawlings, and defense has kind of just declined through the years. It just hasn't been the same. Obviously, Carlos Correa was a big emphasis on the defense, being winning the platinum glove as well. But yeah, I'm just like you're saying. I mean, the defense got to get better some way, somehow. When we're out there, I mean, they're always working on their defense. They're always working on the side. Batting practice, making sure they're filling the ball with the small glove. That really helps out the defensive purpose of fielding the ball. But yeah, that's kind of a pointer that the Astros kind of got to get better at if they're going to want to stay above water.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of the frustration is building is just because Astros fans have been lucky in regards that the Astros have been in this dynasty year, and then now when I'm not saying it's in a complete decline yet because there's still a lot of guys that foundation is still there, but
Mhm.
uh, you're getting a glimpse of if they don't sign free agents or if they don't make a big splash, they don't reinforce the minor league system. This is what the road could be for the Astros too.
Spoiled of riches, I would say, for
Yeah,
Astros fans because throughout the years, I mean, shit, they've been doing this. I would say in the beginning of 2015, even though they did miss
yeah,
2016, the vibe of playoff baseball in Houston at Minute Maid Park was there just like in 2005.
and
It
that's
kind of
almost 10 years.
ramped it up. Yeah, it has. And not all like I said, dynasties are going to come to an end. Everything's going to come to an end some way somehow. But this team, when you look at it on paper, we've talked about it before. It just looks too good to believe that it's already ending. It's like
Yeah,
it's not even close to the near end. I feel like you still got another year from Kyle Tucker and Framber Valdez. Yes, this is Bregman's last year. You re-signed Jose Altuve. You still got Jordan Alvarez under contract. I mean, you still got a lot of life, and you could still make the playoffs. Especially if you don't win the division, you could still have a great chance of getting in that third spot of the wild card. And you've
yeah.
seen how teams do in the wild card. Shoot, Rangers did it, Nationals did it. Who else?
Phillies.
Phillies did it. I mean, yeah, there's been a trend of the wild card teams going on a roll. So no, I don't know. Maybe the Astros at this point in this year might look like they might need to find a wild card spot.
Yeah, I mentioned last podcast about the Mets turning it around. I know they started pretty bad too, but I mean, there's still hope. Like I said, the foundation is still there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the pieces falling into place at the right time. Like every now and then, the Astros have shown glimpses of what they could do, potentially be right. They've had glimpses where they had great starting pitching, but the bullpen wasn't there. They had glimpses where the bullpen was there, but the starting pitching wasn't able to contribute. Or they had glimpses where the offense was spectacular, but yet the pitching wasn't there. But they also a few of their wins have been when everything has been clicking for them,
Mhm.
both offense, pitching, defense. So again, the foundation's still there, the product is still there. It's just a fitting the pieces back together so they can work in a synchronized fashion. And it's just it's just been tough.
I would say that part, like you were saying, just everything sinking in place is probably going to be from the Toronto Blue Jay series. They honestly should have swept that series
Mm-hmm.
when they did give up that home run to Schneider. I think it was Josh Hader that did. That was a sweeping series right there, but obviously they lost it. But they did win the series. But like you're saying, that's kind of a glimpse of how this team could be if they stay consistent. But real quick, let's go with game two. And it was kind of almost the same thing as game one, but the offense I would say was there. It's just runners in scoring position. I mean, with
Untimely hitting.
untimely hitting, atrocious as well. I would want to describe it with one word, because runner scoring position with this team this year has just been mind-boggling. It's just been bad. And you did read the stat of when they leave runners on base and runners in scoring position. They lead the majors. I want to say in the last episode we had talked about. So
Mhm.
it's not where you want to end your name on, but until the Astros start doing something about it, and that's where they're going to be placed. But 1 for 10, 10 left on base in 5 different innings. 5 different innings. Runners in scoring position, men left on base. They had dozens of opportunities to get runners in. And if you think about it, they honestly would only had one run in this game.
Yeah.
Um, one of the runs was scored on an error. One of the runs was on an RBI single from Bregman, but it was off of Jamison Tyon's glove. It doesn't hit. If it doesn't hit his glove, that's a double play. That's a
Yeah.
game-ending double play to get out of that inning.
So you could
So
so you could even
go for it.
argue that they could have been shut out then,
No,
because it was.
because Jose Altuve did hit a home run.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry about that. I forgot
So
about that.
there at least be one run on the board,
Yeah.
but it could have been a different outcome too because maybe they didn't have to put Hector Neris. The Cubs didn't have to put Neris out there for that save opportunity, and it could have been a different guy. Maybe Altuve doesn't even hit a home run. Just different scenarios, I would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go.
But let's go with Arrighetti real quick because, and I want to get your opinion on this in a minute. We'll talk about his stat. Just another rocky start in his third career start. Just wasn't there. First inning, same thing like JP. 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Same situation as France. Did not put away that next batter with 2 outs. It was kind of the same players too, Angel. Christopher
Yeah.
Morel walks. Dansby Swanson this time gets a hold of the ball and shoots it out with a 3-run homer. That put 4 earned runs on the board in the first inning. After that, second through, I think he went 3 2/3. He did give up a couple hits, 4 hits. Didn't allow any earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. I will say this about Arrighetti, though. He did have his fastball. And I said in the last episode, if he could continue throwing that fastball, because he has a great fastball, great four-seamer that averages about 95, 96 miles per hour, there's a great chance he could be still in this game. And, I mean, he kind of was. Just the pitch count just got up there. It rose.
Yeah. 34
30,
pitches.
yeah, 34 pitches in the first inning. But real quick on the fastball, and just overall for him, 13 swing and misses, 12 of them came off that four seamer, and 1 of them came off the cutter.
Nice.
So I want to ask you this though, because I'm not saying nothing bad about Arrighetti. Arrighetti's been getting called whenever he has an opportunity. He's getting his shot to prove that he's, being able to be at this big league level. But why not maybe, possibly let, I was going to say Brandon Bielak start? I would have think because we've seen Bielak pitch in the Astros starting rotation last year when a bunch of guys were hurt due to injuries, due to personal matters. He came in and he did his job, whether it was giving up a run, giving up a two earned runs. There was a point of time, I think in July, that he had not given up a run or given up 2 runs. I mean, he did a good job, and I'm shocked that Espada hasn't thought about, you know what, let's give Bielak a chance because he's always done it last year. He was kind of the pinpoint that rotation when guys were out instead of, continuing using Spencer Arrighetti. I mean, give me your point. Give me your thoughts on that.
I would say it was a fresher arm. Spencer Arrighetti hadn't pitched since his last spot in the major leagues, which is about 8 days ago. When you look at Brandon Bielak from the bullpen, like he's great and all, but the fact that the starters have not gone like a lot of innings kind of defeats Brandon Bielak becoming a starter because I'm sure in the back of his spotter's mind he's like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna get from this guy. I don't know what I'm gonna get from this guy. So having Bielak as the little safe haven you could say, or like guy that can eat up innings, that's always good to have at the back of the bullpen. I think that's what kind of stopped them from putting Bielak in because, for example, if your pitchers are giving you 6+ innings, but there's some injuries in, then you can rely on Bielak, right? Because I know I can lose that extra arm in the bullpen because I know the other pitchers are going to go with 5, 6+ every outing, but the fact that hasn't happened, that hasn't been consistent enough, I think having Bielak there would be kind of crucial because he last pitched April 21st. He threw 2 innings, threw 39 pitches. So again, I don't know what his availability was. Um, and then, but even then, he's had outings where he's thrown 63 pitches. He has outing where he's thrown 50 pitches. Like he's kind of like that long man emergency pitcher. I think the fact that some starters haven't been as consistent, it kind of keeps that back in the keeps that back in the spotter's mind. Now, I am gonna agree with Blackie here in the comments. He said Arrighetti definitely got star potential because
Mhm.
honestly, I think in that first inning, it was the first time that Spencer Arrighetti had pitched in cold weather. I'm not gonna say that's an excuse, but that could, it's a factor as well. But what I kind of saw him do is he was trying to be a little too fine with his pitches. Like there was times where he get into 3-2 counts or like ahead of the count, and ended up being a 2-2 count, 3-2. He was trying to strike him out with the perfect pitch. But like you said, after that, he had one bad pitch this game, and that was the home run to Dansby Swanson. After
Mhm.
that, he settled in. So I think that was the difference maker there. That bad pitch, Dansby Swanson could have easily been a win for the Astros. If that doesn't happen. So, um, I think he made the right choice. That's what I'm saying. It's like I think he made
Mhm.
the right choice going with Arrighetti. He's fresh, hasn't pitched in 8 days. Bielek's kind of there as your emergency relief pitcher because again, you don't know what's going to happen with your next starter, especially the way they're going. So I don't know. I think it was right. It was the right call.
That's a great point. I mean, like I said, I was just curious because from all the times from last year when some of the Astro players like Framber was hurt, Verlander was hurt, um, all those type of guys. I mean, next man up mentality was usually
See,
Brandon Bielak, and he did a great job last year of it.
but the difference is from last year, this year is Christian Javier was the only guy that was about throwing 4 2/3 5 innings. Everybody else, for the most part, right? I'm sure they had like I know they had some bad starts mixed in, but for the most part, Hunter Brown would give you five, maybe 5 plus. JP France was giving you 5 plus, right? So was Framber Valdez, so was Verlander. Whereas this year, it's kind of been a whole different stories. For example, Spencer Arrighetti went 3 2/3. There was a time where JP France with an inning, Hunter Brown won an inning, so it's kind of hard to different from there.
Yeah, you made great points. Great points on that. But yeah, I mean the Astros are gonna have to figure out this rotation going to Mexico City. They have not yet said it. Well, we'll talk about maybe possibly Framber Valdez could be one of those starters going in, and Ronel Blanco. But yeah, I mean the first two games not what you expected from the Astros, but you got Justin Verlander coming on the mound on Wednesday, a veteran that's been through it, that's done through it. He's been the vocal leader in the clubhouse so far. I think if you're an Astros fan, you got to feel confident going into that last game and just hoping if it carries momentum into Mexico City, because no telling what that ball does when it flies out of the ballpark over there with that elevation. You could just talk to Colorado about that over there, of course.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I mean that was a great recap because it's been kind of hard for the Astros, but we got more comments here. Dubin's looking nice out of the bullpen as well. Man, I think so. I think Blackie took a glimpse of my Carne Asada invite because I think he saw the list because my first guy uh was going to be Spencer Arrighetti. I know he did 3 2/3, but he looked sharper than his last outing. Again, it was just that rough first inning, but after that, he kind of settled in. His pitches looked sharp, like you said. That fastball was uh, a really good pitch for him this series, and I think this was an improvement from his last two starts, and I think
Mhm.
Spencer Arrighetti can leave this game, although I'm sure they didn't get the outcome they wanted. He can leave with his head held high because again, it was just one bad inning. He did really well. I think that just builds for his next start. The next person, but actually like the main guy who's cooking needs to be Jose Altuve. He went 3 for 9, 1 home run, 1 RBI, and the meat of the day. I know. Uh, since you're going to Mexico City, let's do some fajitas, some fajitas for some
Adidas,
tacos. Yeah, for some tacos out there. Um,
love it.
before we move on, like what's the food that you're more interested in trying when you go to Mexico City?
I don't know, dude. I really don't. I'm just gonna everything's gonna be La Grasa over there. So La Grasa is gonna be in attendance, but I feel like there's gonna be just a lot of grease with the food. Everything's gonna be good regardless, though.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
fajitas, gorritas. tortas, all this stuff. Maybe another discada we'll eat over there.
Yeah, I wanna like. I would recommend trying a more traditional food from there like that. I'm sure that'd be nice too.
Okay.
But moving on, Kyle Tucker as well, 3 for 8, one double. Victor Caratini, I know he only played in one game, but again, making his opportunities, like taking advantage of all the opportunities he's gotten. He went 1 for 2 for 2 walks and a run. I think he was on base 3 times. He was left on base about 2 3 times as well. So 2 times actually. So he was actually starting to charge in the bottom end of the lineup. It's just it couldn't happen. And then lastly, Sean Dubin. I know, like I said, he was nice out of the bullpen. He pitched 2 in the third innings, 3 strikeouts, and allow any runs, no hits as well. He was pretty good at the lineup.
He's looked really good in the bullpen. I think he's done a fantastic job. Let's throw a little bit of mini shout outs out there real quick for some of these for these relievers. I'd say the bullpen, like we talked about, the back end has been kind of difficult for the Astros, but kind of the middle relief has stepped up for them. Let's talk about Seth Martinez real quick. Opponent batting
Yeah,
average is 200. He has a whip of 0.929. Best average, the best you can get is under one, and that is pretty impressive in the whip column. Rafael Montero, everybody's been trying to figure out if Montero's going to go back to that 2022 version of himself, and sure enough, so far he's looked like that this year, as well as the opponent batting average, dude, 143 hitters are hitting off of him, and a 238 ERA plus. That is a beautiful number in that column. And Taylor Scott as well. He's done a
yeah,
fantastic job. I feel like Scott and Martinez, they almost look alike, but with them two in the middle relief, they've just done a great job. Batting average 171 with opponents hitting, and has a 10.9 strikeout per 9 innings. That's pretty impressive. When you combine all their ERAs together and their earned runs, they'd only given up 9 earned runs over 30 innings with a 2.23 ERA. That is just impressive. That is things you like to see if you're an Astros fan. Even if you're an Astros player on the field, when you got a guy like that pitching and punching guys out, you got to feel confident behind them and be able to put out your defense and things like that. So I just want to throw a little shout out to there. Yeah, we can even throw a little shout out for Mr. John
John
Singleton. What
Singleton.
a
Yeah,
day for him. 2 for
two
2.
hits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 for 2, but I think he finished the game 2 for 3 or 2 for 4, I want to say.
I think it's 2 for 3 or 2 for 4.
2 for 3, I
So,
believe.
I know
So
he had 2 hits. So yeah, but those were some line shots like down the
yeah,
line.
down the first base line. That's the beauty of the game right there. I love when you just pull it and you just see the ball just go right there down the line, down that chalk. So yeah, mini shout out to Mr. Singleton. Tony, my man. He says, I'm calling it now, 8-18 tomorrow. A lot of Astros fans are hoping for that outcome to be, Tony, because
Javier Assad, though, no easy task.
no easy task. If you have yet to hear about the Assad and Verlander preview, I highly recommend you go check that out because his splits and what he throws is amazing. It is crazy. Tony, again, Astros feeling like Devin Haney right now.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's very yikes, but I mean, Hunter Brown
You
could
know,
attest to that.
if the Astros end up winning the division this season, it's gonna be like that meme where it says, y'all really had me in the first half, and then, you know, yeah, I got one more
Blackie,
comment.
Blackie, do you think we see Forrest Willie get a start opportunity since the last time he came out the back end?
Ooh, I don't know.
That's a great question, honestly. I
I think
wouldn't
he's,
see why not,
but I think
but
they worked him more as a bullpen piece. I don't think so.
just because of the injury history, I would say too,
Yeah,
for him. If he can just give you a good quality of a inning or two, or maybe possibly three, like how Dubin's been doing, what Brandon Belak does as well.
yeah,
Um, I don't see why not. I think it's looking like a great opportunity for him to be in that back end, and the stuff that
yeah.
he has is it's electric.
I think if it were to come to that, I think Brandon Belak would get the first dibs anyways too. So I think there's guys in front of him, or you might even see what's his name, the one that pitched with the Rangers, Haley. That his name,
What you're talking about
the
for the
Astros
Rangers?
pitcher. No, for the Astros
Oh,
pitcher,
Andrew Heaney. Andrew Heaney.
Andrew. No, 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 no. He pitched against the Rangers. He pitched like when he got one out.
Oh, Devin Haney, like Tony had said.
Oh, is it Evan Haney?
Yeah, that was the guy that had the
That's the
start.
boxer.
That's the one that
That's
came
the
from Triple
boxer, dude.
A
He's
and
talking about
drove all the way from Fort
Devin
Worth.
Haney Blair. That's his name, Blair. Thank you, Blackie. Blair.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. There was some
Devin
boxing going on this
Devin
past
Haney is
weekend.
a boxer. So I was like so
It's all right.
confused.
Hey, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, was boxing this past weekend, and shoot, 2 more weeks for Cinco de Mayo with Canelo as well.
Man,
So,
I think you got the concussion over what David Haney on that one did.
real quick with the AOS standings, because I mean, we continue to say it. Astros are still in the AOS hunt, even though, I mean, shoot, we're still in April. We're making it sound like it's September. Mariners 12-11, Rangers 12-12, Angels 10-15, Athletics 9-16, and the Astros are 7-18. So Blackie wanted to add on to that. He says, "Okay, we'll take Ethan Holiday," which the Astros do lack prospects. And I mean, Jackson Holiday, Ethan Holiday, the way they've been slugging the ball, my gosh, that family in general, that they just know how to hit.
Did you ever see that video of them hitting with like I think a metal bat, like a little home run derby?
Ding,
Like,
ding, ding,
yeah,
ding. Like all you hear was all like just the sound of the metal bat, just the ball just flying,
yeah, that's
just
crazy.
flying. Tony only 6 games back. Yep, like I said, Astros are just 6 games back from the AL West. So there's a possibility that you never know. That's the beauty of this game. Like I said, I'm going to continue saying that baseball is a game of inches, mysterious, all these type of words you would like to describe. But
It's also a game of like hot streak. Sometimes sometimes you're
hot
on
and
it.
cold.
Yeah, it's a hot and cold game. Sometimes you're on it, you're winning these games, and then sometimes it's just very brutal.
And the Astros have gone on a 10-game winning streak last year. I think they've done it multiple times. I want to say
Mhm.
8 and 10. So
Yeah.
when the bats are going for this team, it could look like a scary team going into the dog days of summer, because summer is when they actually start heating up with their sticks.
Yeah.
But real quick, let's move on to the Astros going. Like you're saying, they're traveling to Mexico City after Wednesday's game. My guess is that they're getting out of the clubhouse and they're going straight to either Chicago O'Hare Airport, or I don't know what's the other airport. I think it's just Chicago.
I'm sure it's Chicago O'Hare's. That's the biggest one.
Chicago O'Hare is the biggest one. That's the international one as well. So that's probably going to be the best one that they're probably going to go to. But a little bit of stats right here. Last time the Astros were in Mexico, specifically talking about Monterrey, against the Los Angeles Angels. Angel, you want to get a crack on these scores real quick? Because I was really shocked about them.
Yeah, the Astros, that's when they were on a hot streak. They beat the Los Angeles Angels 14-2 and then 10-4.
10-4. Gotcha. 10-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, double digits on the board for both of the games. Alex Bregman was like kind of the headline guy of the whole series. He had 2 home runs in one game. He had a grand slam in the next game. Guess where he was hitting in that order as well?
I don't know. I would say maybe the second order. I really don't know.
Second order? No, we're going to go in the 4-hole, which he's been hitting the 4-hole kind of.
He moved it to second
his whole life. Yeah, and real quick, we didn't even get to mention that. I think that was kind of I didn't mind the move. I did not mind that move at all. I think it was kind of smart because he does have some experience batting in that 2-hole back, I want to say, in 2019. You remember even in the postseason, AJ Hinch, I put him in there in 2018. So I didn't really mind that position of putting them there. Yes, he's been struggling, but you never know what can happen. But let's finish off with that Mexico real quick. Correa, Brantley, Dr. Smooth had 2 home runs over there, Angel.
Wow.
The Doc with 2 home runs. Yuli Gurriel and George Springer all hit a ball out of the ballpark. So I believe the balls are going to be flying over there in Mexico City, regardless of the elevation and things like that. But before we move on to the train station, Angel, additional roster spot update. The Astros will get a 27th man for this weekend series. According to the MLB rules, it must be a position player. This was per Chandler Rome. If you had to guess, who would it be if it's a position player?
If it's a position player, I'm probably looking either David Hensley if they're looking for infield / utility, or maybe Corey Jokes as well for an outfield play. I don't see them bringing up Joey Luperfield yet because he is not on the 40-man roster, so they would have to, uh, either put someone on the injured list or designate somebody for assignment. And
Mhm.
I don't think Mexico would make an ideal trip for him, coming from Sugarland or there. So I would say someone that's on a 40-man roster, it'll be pretty simple of that. That's what I'm saying, Jokes or Hensley or even maybe Trey Cabbage as well. Or maybe get
Trey
some work in
Cabbage.
first place.
Get some working at first base. Little Looper Fido update as well. He had 2 home runs in today's game. I don't know who they were playing against, but I did get an
Two home
update that
runs.
2 home runs.
Mm.
Even Troy, Tony, real quick. How old is Pedro Leon? I do
I
not
think he's
know.
something. Let me see.
He's in his late 20s, I want to say. But even speaking of Leon as well, he had a home run in the same game as Joey Luperfido. If I had to guess real quick though, Angel, I think Cesar Salazar would be a great one. Mexico
Okay.
native. You
25
get
is
him
Pedro.
to you. Pedro Leon is 25. Okay.
Yeah.
But Cesar Salazar, real quick, Mexico native from Hermosillo, as well
Hermosillo.
as a third backup catcher, like we talked about before. If you want to get Victor Caratini a start at first base, why not let him get a start against a
Yeah.
team like the Colorado Rockies, who are struggling with starting pitching and the bullpen, just like the Astros. So maybe bringing another backup catcher. I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind the Astros kind of doing a holding on to 3 catchers at the end of the day, but it'll just probably be for that series. I think that'd be kind of a great homecoming for him, to see some family and be able to play or just be on the field in this series.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know. I'm sure Akiti would like to pitch. Obviously, that can't happen. He's on the injury list, but yeah, it'll be a great experience. Great feeling in Mexico. Again, Mexico City is a wonderful city as well.
Yep, Blackie said the same thing. Probably be Cesar Salazar since he's Mexican. Do we know the dimensions out there?
Do you know what field they're playing at?
They're playing at Aztec
No, that's the
something.
soccer stadium.
No, that's I don't know. I don't have it on the top of my head. I can look through it when you run down through the train station real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I have it. I'm just there's two baseball stadiums.
If y'all want to help us, y'all feel free to just
Oh yeah,
pop it up real quick if you have it. Um, I just got it. I remember where they were playing, but shoot, I just don't have it right in front of me.
all right. But while Lorenzo looks that up, let's start from the train station, right? Which is again formerly known as Astros News. Again, we're trying to find a good name, so let us know what you think. But let's start with Framber Valdez. I think that's the biggest highlight for the injuries because I'm sure Astros fans started waiting anxiously when he'll be back. He threw a 40 pitch bullpen today, actually. He's expected to come off the IL and start one of the games in Mexico City this weekend. So, great news for the Astros fans, for sure.
Real quick, Alfredo Harp Helu Stadium,
Oh, I had that one.
which I have it right here. Estadio
Oh, perfect.
Alfredo Harp Helu. So
It's
that's where they
turf.
will be playing. Yeah, have you seen the reconstruction of that field?
No.
Go check it out. It's on Los Mayores,
Perfect.
LASMAYORES. They showed that they demolished the whole field and then they just put off everything um, from it. I completely forgot about looking for the
I
dimensions.
got
I
it.
was just,
I got
I
it.
was excited to find the stadium. Um,
I got it. It's
oh, you got it.
332 down the foul poles and then 410 center field.
So your best bet is hooking them down the line,
Yeah.
pulling them. Which, like I said, I think the ball's just going to be flying regardless
But
of
high
what happens.
altitude, yeah, high altitude. So it's like kind of like playing
Of course.
in course field, yeah. But I
Mhm.
think if I'm not mistaken, Mexico City is a lot higher too. So
It's going to be kind of a homecoming
yeah,
for the Rockies, I would say. But real quick, bring on the Blitz podcast. Shout out to you, gentlemen. Arskin is where it's at. Congratulations to them. They are in the Arskin Podcast Network. If you don't know them, Bring on the Blitz podcast is a podcast dedicated for the Houston Texans news as well as the National Football League. So go check them out. They got some great content, especially with the NFL draft appearing pretty
yeah.
soon. So highly recommend them. Like I said, congrats.
And it's a great time to be a Texans fan, and then it's just even better when you have a great podcast to listen to. To get you ready and excited for it. So yeah, hear them out. But again, I think Framber Valdez could be back this weekend, playing Mexico City. series, that'd be great. I don't, which is worked out perfect since Framber Valdez is a ground ball pitcher, so keeping the ball on the ground will be very crucial in Mexico City for sure. It'll be crazy to see because I know some pitchers have a hard time pitching course field just again, getting the spin on the ball. So I wonder how that's going to be because I know Framber Valdez is a pitcher that relies spin, as you can see, sinker, curveball, right? So two main pitches. So it'll be interesting to see there.
Question real quick before we
Go
move
ahead.
on. Do you see a pitch count with Framber Valdez, just like with Justin Verlander?
Probably about 80, the same.
About like
But
75, 80 you would target?
yeah, he wasn't gone too long, and I'm sure he was throwing. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's not, but I think there will be about 75 to 80 pitches, just like last time.
I believe the last time he pitched was against either the Texas Rangers or the Toronto Blue Jays at home. Because when they
Okay.
had their road trip to Texas, he did not pitch.
Yeah. So
So
it's been I mean, yeah, but the fact that he doesn't need a rehab start kind of gives hope that he should be slotting in the way he usually does. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised though. It's a 80 pitch pin count. Pitch
real
count.
quick, Ronel Blanco too. I wanted to add on to that list. He's been having a great, doing a great job having the guys play behind him and just get the ground ball on the dirt. So just want to throw that out there too, real quick before Angel does it with Cristian Javier. If you're going to Mexico City, let us know in the comments. I completely forgot. If you're going over there to watch the Astros play at Mexico City against the Colorado Rockies, just feel free to say something like, "Yeah, I'm going out there. I'll be out there. What section?"
So
Just
we'll
feel
buy
free.
you a beer.
I don't know about that, but well, I'll say this: I think it might be cheaper over there than over here in the U.S. So, but yeah, feel free if you're going out there. Be safe.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Cristian Javier, he flew back to Houston on Tuesday to continue his treatment. He said he's feeling better, but didn't try to throw with his neck stiffen up. He played catch today in Houston. I think it's his left side of his neck is kind of hurting. So which when he turns to face him out,
The
uh,
other side, the other side,
oh,
the
the
right side.
right side, which is again still big for his pitcher since he has to face that way. So that kind of pulls the neck a little bit. So uh, I'm sure he'll get better. But I don't. Again, him. I don't think he'll need a rehab start either. Yeah, it's a neck injury, but I think he should be ready to go once the IO stint is over. And then lastly, Astros general manager Jenna Brown, the Astros start. He's been talking to Sports Talk 790 this morning, and then this is what he had to say. We're at an intersection of disappointment and optimistic. We're optimistic because we'll turn it around. 2 stars coming back, 138 games to go. We just got to get on a roll. And I think that's where a lot of Astros fans are feeling the same way. They're at the crossroads of, again, just like Donna Brown said, disappointed and optimistic. Obviously, it's not the start many people envision the Astros to have. They're just coming about one win off a World Series. They still have their foundation guys, core guys are there. It's just the fact that injuries played a big part. I think maybe the front office not adding another arm could played a big part of that too. But again, like Dana Brown said, 138 games to go. It's just a matter of turning it around.
Yeah, and like you said in the beginning, it's kind of like they got to get on a hot streak, and when they get on a hot streak, it can be pretty scary for the rest of the league. But when is that going to happen? We don't know, because as of right now, the offense just looks out of place. I mean, runners in scoring position is a big factor about this team right now. It is just not hitting it, not getting that big hit. If they're hitting it right at somebody. Example, Caratini today did that with
Yeah.
runners on first and third, hit a line shot to Christopher Morel. I'll say this about Jose Abreu real quick too. He did have uh, two hard lineouts in his last game against the Cubs in the first game of the series, over 95 miles per hour exit velocity. So that's kind of an improvement to see. You can't think everything negative, but it's kind of been an improvement seeing that from Jose Abreu. Tony, real quick, does Espada give his guys days off? People hated Dusty for resting stars or bringing them back late after injury. Seems like all the regulars have played every day so far. I don't know. I don't think. I mean,
I
Bregman
think
had a stomach bug. Altuve's been kind of the guy that's been playing a lot. Am I missing another one? Jerry Pena's been a
yeah.
guy. Jordan's been a guy.
I feel like I just no issue there. I feel at the end of the day, you want especially with this start, you want the best players you have on the team to be playing out there. So I'm sure if it was a different record, different position, you might start seeing little guys get a little day off right now. But the fact that they're struggling to win games, you want the guys out there that are going to win you the most games. So just
Yeah, and I think them four guys that we just named, they're going to give you the best opportunities. Three of them are in the 1 through 4 of the lineup, and then Jerry Pena's been swinging a hot bat. Why are you going to want to rest him on days when he's swinging a good quality bat, which he's looked really impressive in the beginning of this season for the Astros? I think he's like top 7, top 10 in batting average in the American League right now. So that's been pretty impressive for him. But I think it's just like, say it again.
No, I would say Altuve's still what, top 1, top 3 in hits too.
No, I think he's like top. Oh, in the American League?
American League, yeah.
Most likely. But I think this team is just missing that one big hit. As soon as they get that big hit from either Jordan, which Jordan hasn't had an extra base hit in a while. It's been, I'd say, with the Braves series, they had a extra base hit.
Who?
If it wasn't that, then it was the Rangers.
Who?
Jordan Alvarez.
Oh, let me check.
But real quick, Tony said Blake Snell has SUX so far and is on the IL too. That's pretty unfortunate for the Giants losing the 2-time Cy Young Award winner. I don't know if maybe he rushed. I think he has a left arm abductor strain or something like that from Blake Snell.
So Jordan Alvarez's last extra base hit was a home run in Atlanta.
In Atlanta? No, against Atlanta.
Against Atlanta.
I mean.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though? Guess how many doubles Jordan has?
4.
0.
Well, he's had a lot of loud outs at Minute Maid.
Yeah.
You've seen everything's been warning track. Center field's just been keeping it, just grabbing it and grabbing the range out there. So.
Oh, no, wait, sorry. It's 3 doubles. 3 doubles.
You're looking at triples then.
Yeah, I was looking at triples. Yeah, I was looking at triples. 3 doubles.
Hey, don't sleep on his speed, dude. Do not sleep on his speed because he's pretty quick on the bags. Very underrated runner, I would say. But that is the end of our show. We will not do a live broadcast or any other podcast episodes until the Cleveland Guardians series back home in Houston. That'll probably be at the last end of that series. Angel, you wanted to add something? Looked like you wanted to say something.
No.
Oh, I thought you had to say something.
No.
Yeah, so most likely we won't do another podcast episode until that. So don't be scared. Don't be haunted that we're not doing anything. We'll still be doing content out there at Mexico City, but as of recording wise and breaking down the pitching previews, Carne Asada, all that fun stuff that we like to do, we won't be doing that until the Cleveland Guardians series at the end of that series against the Guardians. But Angel, you got anything else before we sign off?
Yeah, I'll tell them why. Where are you gonna be at?
Well, yeah, I'll be at Mexico City. I'll be covering the game for at least Sunday, I would say. Sunday's game, I'll be covering it. So that's why I said just keep your eyes on social media. We'll still put out content and all that good stuff. Just no recording podcast episodes, and just stay tuned for the social.
Yeah. But we can't wait to see y'all back for the Garden series. Again, thank you for listening. We had a pretty good crowd today. Yeah. Good crowd.
10 o'clock. Yeah, a lot of people don't sleep in Houston. I can see they want to be talking about New York.
Man, I'm already tired.
I know you are. You got that old man time. But since you're on here, if you do not follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, any of that stuff, be sure to follow because that's where we're going to be posting our social media content for this Mexico City series, as well as we are 4 subscribers away from hitting triple digits, hitting the hundo. If we could get that, we'll throw a giveaway because the Astros.
You heard it here first.
Yes, you did hear it here first. They will be at Mexico City, so we'll throw a giveaway if we hit triple digits as 100 subscribers. So make sure to subscribe and do not miss a beat. But until then, y'all stay safe. Have a blessed weekend, and we'll talk to y'all at the end of that Cleveland Guardians series.
Peace.